Whether new shooter, longtime gun owner, or even police officer or soldier, your handgun needs a Crimson Trace laser sight or light. Get the confidence and reliability you need to protect family, home, and country. Crimson Trace.
The #1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
All righty, lock and load. Let's go talk about guns. By the way, it is that Christmas buying season. One of the best deals I know of is the stuff we have at our website, GUNTALK, or shopguntalk.com, but don't go there. Say what? Did he just say that's the best deals, but don't go there? Yeah, don't go there. Because if you go there right now on your computer, you'll spend too much money. But if you have the Gun Dealio app, the smartphone app on your phone, and you go there, you will save 25%, a full quarter off of everything you buy there. We have hats, GUNTALK hats, and the really cool circle trigger hat for the Guns and Gear show. It's kind of neat. If you know what it is, it looks like a trigger. If you don't, to everybody else, it just looks like some kind of a little swooshy thing. It's like the secret code that you're in the club kind of hat. And of course, all of our DVDs are there as well as some other stuff. So you need to get, it's free. Look, it's free. How can you go wrong? Get the Gun Dealio app, GUNDEALIO. It's for the Android and the iPhone, and you can save money with it. It'll start saving money right off the bat with it. We can't talk about guns without talking about shooting. You can't talk about shooting without talking about ammo. And one of the people that I'll just be honest with you, I just like to hang out with. Jeff Hoffman is the president of Black Hills Ammunition, joins us right now. Hey, Jeff, is it a little bit chilly up there in the Dakotas?
No, actually, Tom, it's pretty nice. It's beautiful here now.
Really? What constitutes nice this time of year up there?
Oh, heck, I think it's got to be 40 or above right now.
Around here, when it gets to 40, people start worrying about frozen pipes and they hunker down because it's about 75 or 80 where I am at the moment. It's crazy time. So there you go. Oh, but you know, when I was out there, you and I went out to your shooting range and we had a ball. In fact, that show we did for Gun Talk is running this week. Starts again tomorrow on the Pursuit channel, and also it's on our YouTube website. But we got to go out and play and shoot a lot of your cowboy ammunition. You've got a really extensive line of ammunition for cowboy shooting. That can't all be being purchased by people just shooting cowboy action matches.
Oh, no, that's primarily who it's marketed to, but since it's basically pleasant to shoot, accurate ammunition, a lot of people use it for just practice, but I think most of it goes to the cowboy action crowd.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a hidden secret, because if you look at it on the website, by the way, the website is black-hills.com or black-hills.com. You've got some loads here, 44 Special, 44 Russian, that you can shoot in your 44 Magnum, and ultimately, I mean, just really light loads and fun practice stuff.
Yep, it's very pleasant to shoot, almost no recoil. It's really a good training round, really comfortable to shoot, and a little more economical too.
Exactly right. Now, before you went on the air, I got this email this morning, and I have to share it with everybody because I sent this to you, and you responded to the guy, and that was very nice of you. It's from Bradley. He says, "Hey, Tom, I've heard you talk about Black Hills Ammunition on Gun Talk." This is an email I got this morning. He said, "I've listened to your interviews with the folks at Black Hills over and over, so being the accuracy freak that I am, I had to try Black Hills ammo out for myself." He's got a 30-06, got Browning A-Bolt, got the Loophole Variax 6 2-12 power. He's a real accuracy guy. He goes out, gets his gun sighted in, and then he sent us all of these pictures, and he is shooting groups that are basically a ragged hole with a 30-06 hunting rifle, not a target rifle, at 100 yards. And in the end, he says, "I'm sold on Black Hills ammo. I'm ordering more to use in my 308. Says, I just wish that Black Hills would load for my 7mm STW. So he likes your stuff.
He's a pretty good shot. You know, to shoot groups like that, you need more than good ammo. You got to have a good rifle, and it looks like he does, and you got to know how to use it, and it sure looks like he does that too.
How do you what makes ammunition accurate? I know that's like the biggest open-ended question in the world, but really, what's the difference between just so-so ammo and accurate ammo?
That's a really good question. A lot of it is trial and error putting it together, but you can save yourself a lot of steps by picking really good bullets. If you've got good, you can't make bad bullets shoot good. So you got to pick really good bullets. In this case, he's shooting the Nosler AccuBond, the 180 grain AccuBond, and that's a bullet that will nearly shoot with things like the specifically made target bullets, like any of the Motel hollow points. But it's a hunting bullet. It's designed for accuracy, but it's designed for retaining weight, holding together, penetrating deeply without sacrificing the initial impact, the opening up. It makes a really big cavity right away and then continues to penetrate deep. So you start with a good bullet, and then you pick the right powder, something that gives you good standard deviations, good pressure to velocity ratios. What I try to do is pretty much fill the case, and that gives you good low standard deviations. It's one of the tricks given good standard deviations is you kind of fill the case, something that gives you acceptable pressures and then good velocities, and then you just go out and shoot it. And we do that every time we develop a load. I personally shoot every big game rifle round that we make. I'll run out and shoot it, or we'll send one of the guys out to get some initial development done. You just do a lot of shooting and see what works the best in a wide variety of guns.
For standard deviation, we're talking about the variation between the highest and lowest velocities you get. And you're not talking about, you can't do that on like a 3-shot string or a 5-shot string. You got to shoot a lot of ammo to get some meaningful statistics out of this.
Yeah, from what I've seen, you really have to shoot 10-shot strings, not for accuracy. You can get a pretty good idea of accuracy with shooting numerous 5-shot groups, but for consistency in the load, you really need to shoot 10-shot groups to have some sort of scientifically repeatable number.
I got a question for you. You've been shooting for accuracy for a long, long time, and kind of looking at the marketplace in rifles out there. And it's been my position that really it was the hand loading that made accurate ammo important, and people started actually loading accurate ammo because the hand loader said, hey, they can do this. But then comes along what I think we have is better rifles now than we've ever had. Do you agree?
Oh, I think so. As the market gets more sophisticated, as people get deeper into the sport, their demands go up, and it forces the market to adjust to their demands. They find that it's possible and even expected to shoot minute angle groups anymore. That is, of course, 1-inch groups at 100 yards. It used to be that if you had a minute angle rifle, you better hang on to it and don't loan it out any. Now people pretty much expect that.
Well, exactly. Of course, then it turns around and puts the pressure on ammo makers to produce good ammo, because the other thing that's happened is people share all the time, whether it's, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all these online forums. People know what works and doesn't work, and they share it.
You're right. The internet has really set a high bar in producing good stuff and doing good service. It used to be companies could get by with maybe less than stellar performance in some of those areas, and no more. If you don't give somebody the satisfaction that he wants, that he expects, the performance that he expects, you're lucky if he'll call you about it. If he calls you about it, you look at that as a golden opportunity to make it right. Because if you don't make it right at that point, his next move is to go on the internet and say, you know what, I didn't have a good experience. And so the companies today have to really respect every customer and do their best to give them exactly what they're spending their hard-earned money for.
Well, I've been to your factory a number of times, and you make a lot of ammo, but at the same time, there's an aspect of it, I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, but there's almost an aspect of it of hand loading because you have somebody watching each of these machines as they're making ammo. It's like high-speed hand loading in a weird sort of way. That's got to be part of how you're able to make good ammo.
I think it is. You have to take the best things from the best hand loaders. You have to have as much consistency, do everything on a double check system, make sure that you develop it right, and then you continue to make it right with no wandering. For example, you probably recall when you were here, we'll set up and double check and triple check and test each machine, and then we're constantly checking it while it's running. And no operator is allowed to make any adjustments on his own. If he looks at it and says, I think that could use a little more crimp, that's a no-no. He might think that, but he's got to bring over a supervisor, and the two of them have to agree on it, and then they'll compare to what they've been doing, what the standard is, and then at that point they can make the change and notate in the production log that they made a change. But everything is done on at least a double-check basis with lots of controls.
Well, I've said it a lot of times. If you have a rifle that is pretty darn good and you want to find out just how good it is, get you some Black Hills ammo, shoot it through there. If the rifle doesn't shoot with Black Hills ammo, it's not the ammo. It's the right, or as you say, it may be the shooter, and that's got to be one of the problems that you have or the challenges when somebody says, well, Black Hills, your stuff just doesn't shoot. Here's a group, and you're going, yeah, the problem is we don't know if the guy behind the butt pad can shoot.
And that's true, and I think I think we end up with a lot of the better shooters that are trying our stuff and using our stuff because they demand more. They know that their skill is up to it. So sometimes, though, you'll get a guy with a really good rifle and he's a good shooter and he says, gee, this doesn't work. Sometimes there's a thing called compatibility. You can have really good ammo and a good shooter and a good rifle, and he's just not getting the kind of gilt-edge accuracy he wants. In that case, what he needs to do, and what we'll normally do at that point, is we'll say, why don't you try this, and we'll send him another box or two of different types, because guns have personalities. One time I was talking with an honest-to-goodness scientist, and I said, guns have personalities, and he said, oh, I disagree, Jeff. He said, there's a mechanical explanation for everything. I said, you're absolutely right, but in absence of me knowing exactly what that mechanical explanation is, guns have personalities. Guns are just like people. They may like one thing better than another.
Yep, no, it's exactly right.
Yeah, it's hard to explain why that would be.
It really is. I'll tell you what, I want to talk a little bit more about ammo. Don't go anywhere, Jeff. We're going to take a quick break. This is just too good. We got to do a little bit more of this. One of the things I want to find out is how they decide what ammo they're going to make. What's the next load out there? If you got a question about ammo, you will never, ever have a more knowledgeable person to talk to than Jeff Hoffman from Black Hills Ammo. Call us right now, 866-TALK-GUN.
In today's climate, you always need to be ready. Nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights. Shoot better. Stay safer. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge.
In the fight for gun rights, we need ammunition, intellectual ammunition, and no one does it better than researcher John Lott, author of More Guns, Less Crime. John created the Crime Prevention Research Center to counter the junk studies being done to push gun control. But he doesn't have the big bucks of billionaires like Michael Bloomberg. All he has is us. So I'm asking for your help. Go to crimeresearch.org and donate what you can. This research makes all the difference. People ask what they can do to help preserve the Second Amendment. Honestly, this is one of the best moves you can make. If you can give a lot, that's great, but even the cost of a box of ammo helps. We need John Lott's intellectual ammunition. Go to crimeresearch.org. It's time to step up. crimeresearch.org.
A great trigger can make you a better shooter. For over 60 years, Timney triggers have been trusted by hunters and shooters everywhere. Timney triggers are proudly made in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. Installation is easy. Give yourself the Timney Trigger advantage. To see more and order online, go to timneytriggers.com. That's TIMNEY triggers.com.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to springfieldarmory.com. That's springfieldarmory.com.
Who will you trust with your guns and valuables? Liberty safes are the best built and most secure safes on the planet. They sell more gun safes than any other brand. It's about trust earned through performance. If your Liberty safe is damaged by fire or attempted break-in, they'll send a new safe right to your home. Protection from thieves and fire. Trust the #1 maker of quality gun safes. LibertySafe.com.
All right, we're talking with Jeff Hoffman. He's the president of Black Hills Ammunition in Rapid City, South Dakota. Jeff, one of the questions I was wondering, how do you decide what caliber to add to your lineup?
The basic answer is you listen to what the customer wants. That's how we got into the cowboy action ammunition. When that whole thing started, we were, of course, in business, but I wasn't a part of the cowboy action scene. So we didn't have a cowboy action line, and we had a lot of people come to us telling us about it and more or less demanding. They're asking, Jeff, why don't you have this? And so the big answer is you listen to your customer.
Okay. Now, you don't try to make ammo for every caliber on the planet. That's just not where you guys are. You have a good line, but it's not as big as, the major makers, but you kind of specialize in just making good ammo for those particular calibers. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yep. We don't do any rimfire. We don't do any shot shell. And we've had people ask us why, and I always explain to them that I'm a big fan of Dirty Harry, and Dirty Harry's, one of his axiom is that a man's got to know his limitations. I realize I don't know anything about rimfire. I've watched it being made, and the other thing is it always looked to me like a tough way to make a living. One of the senior executives at one of the big ammo companies, we were having lunch one time, and he said, Jeff, you ever notice you could go in and buy split shot, 50 pieces of split shot, cheaper than you buy a box of 22s? And that kind of solidified it for me right there. So we kind of stick with, we've got most of the common handgun and rifle stuff, but no rimfire, no shot shell. We concentrate a lot on 223 and 5.56. We've got a wider line in that than anybody else, I think.
Why is that? Why do you specialize in that? Why do you make so many different possibilities?
Basically, a couple reasons. One, the customers ask for it, and we try to give them what they want. And the other thing is one of the facts of life in business is you have to come up with new stuff to keep people's attention and keep expanding your market base. So every year we try to look at it and say, okay, what have people been asking for the most? Or looking ahead at our crystal ball with our friends in the rest of the industry and what's happening, what is likely to be popular. An example of that was like the 77 grain. We were, I think, probably the first company to offer factory-loaded 77 grain. That came about because the military asked for it, and we knew that the commercial market watches everything the military does.
Earlier in the show today, I had a guy call in. He was going to build an AR, and he said, well, I've got a 223, I've got a 5.56, I'm thinking about another caliber, and didn't want to go to an AR-10 platform. I want to stay with the AR-15. And, there are a lot of options out there, but I told him something, and I'm not sure that I've really explained it well, but I said, I got to tell you, with all the options that are available now, I really like the 5.56, but the part I didn't say was the versatility of the 5.56 because of all the loads out there now.
Yep, it's kind of like 38 and 357 with a 357. Of course, you can shoot 357s or 38s. With a 5.56, you've got all the range of the 5.56, and there's a lot of really economical and good ammunition in 5.56. People term it the military surplus type stuff. And but then you can also shoot all of the 223. So you can do anything from hunting prey dogs to there's bullets made that in areas where it's legal, there's entirely suitable bullets for hunting mule deer with a 5.56. You have to be careful to place the shot correctly, but with the right bullet, and you hit him broadside through the lungs, that big mule buck doesn't know that he wasn't shot with a 30-06.
I mean, I'm looking at your website here. You've got loads with a 36-grain varmint grenade all the way up to the 77-grain Sierra Match King, and that's just in the 223 side. You get to the 5.56, you got other loads there. You really can do a lot more than people think with that, and then now you have one rifle, you master that, or you know what, you end up like you and I do, Jeff, where you end up with more than one, but that's okay because it's all for the same caliber, but that way you've got different rifles set up. You guys just keep cranking them out. I just want to thank you again for, working with us, educating us, I guess is what I want to say, on ammo and bullets and all the rest of it. It's just always a pleasure to come up there. Besides that, we have fun doing TV, don't we?
Oh, we always have a good time when you come up. And we get to spend some time learning stuff together.
Well, I think I'm doing all the learning where we get together, but I appreciate that. Tell you what, I will see you at the SHOT Show, my friend.
That sounds good, Tom.
All right. Best of the family. Merry Christmas. All right. Jeff Hoffman from Black Hills Ammunition. The man is a walking encyclopedia.
You're listening to Gun Talk, now on more than 200 great radio stations. Now, here's Tom.
Back with ya, 866 Talk Gun gets you in here. Great email from Adrian. He says, I want to thank you for your team for all you do. He says, I'm in Denver. He says, well, when the San Bernardino shooting happened, saw the news, and so he was upset. He was thinking, oh, man, here we go. More gun control laws. He says, to his surprise, it was the other way around. He says, in his circle of people, he had 6 people interested in buying a gun, getting a concealed carry permit, and they asked me to point them in the right direction, which I did to the best of my knowledge. See, it's funny. He was working out of town in Grand Junction when the shooting happened. He said, a coworker was kind of uncomfortable because I carry and I sleep with my gun next to me. He says, well, after the shooting, he was the first one to ask me to help him buy one. We'll have more about that. It's kind of like, remember, I was in Alaska at a fishing camp wearing my 6-inch Smith & Wesson 629-44 Magnum in a shoulder holster for all to see. And I could tell the people I was living in Alaska at the time, the people who were visiting there, particularly from the East Coast, were kind of eyeing me like, geez, oh my God, a wannabe Rambo. Oh my God. Until the third day, when a big old brown bear walked out on a couple of them while they were fishing. And it was interesting because after that, everybody wanted to fish with me. Strange how that happens. Let's go to line 3. I want to talk to Rick in Houston, Texas. Hey, Rick, what you thinking?
Hi. 2 things. One, first, I'm a repeat customer of the Silencer Shop. They monkey-proof things. Even I don't mess it up.
Okay.
Now, I will tell you one mistake I made. I had a can from somewhere else, and when I bought this one, I didn't know the threading, and so I wound up with threads, 2 sets of threads. Now you can get an adapter that I can very quickly lose. But so anyone who's buying, if you already have one, you want to make sure that the new one has the same threads as the old one, so you can swap them back and forth without any problem.
That's a great piece of advice.
Yeah. Now I bought a 22 can, a little Axiom, and with subsonic ammo, which turns out just 22 longs are subsonic as opposed to 22 long rifle, and they're very available.
Correct.
But
right.
it makes less noise than snapping my finger. And,
it's so much fun. I mean, it's so quiet.
Oh yeah, and it's great for the backyard for vicious squirrels and target practice. Now, on the 22s, I'm told they throw a lot of crud out, and so you have to clean them every 500 rounds or so. My buddy over at MG Arms took my baffles out and put a ceramic coating on them. And after I shoot 800 or 900 rounds, we're going to see what effect that made as far as making it easy to clean. Now, here's my question. Mm-hmm. Assuming that I don't go nuts and whatnot, well, first of all, where should I sit when I go into a restaurant? And second of all, when the bad guys come in and I see that they have body armor, where should I aim? Should I just go ahead and aim center mass open that it'll distract him enough? Or should I, assuming I have my wits about me, should I shoot for the crotch, the head, what?
All right. Let me, 2 questions. One is, where do I sit? That's really up to you. I mean, we all try to do what we can, sit with our back to the wall or where we can see the door. But I wouldn't lose my mind on that. As Chris Serino says, hey, man, if you're a guy and you ever stand at a urinal, you got your back to everybody else. So you can't be super tactical all the time, but do what you can. Now, to the question of where do I aim? Body armor or not? This is where good training comes in. Good training being a 3 to 5 day class, a real serious, no kidding, we're going to shoot them up, flop on the ground, run around, do stuff class, where you will learn what is called a failure drill, which is you do 2 to the body and 1 to the head, and you do it without waiting to see did the first 2 shots have any effect. You are basically, as one trainer told me, he says, look, here's the deal. You're going to go 2 shots to center of mass and instantly go up to the head. If the head's not there, then your first 2 shots did their work and don't worry about it. If the head is there, take the shot. Here's the thing. You hear all these reports about the guys, the 2 terrorists in San Bernardino, they were wearing body armor. No, they weren't. The media doesn't know the difference between a tactical vest and body armor. A tactical vest is just like a fisherman's vest, if you will, almost. There's a lot of pockets that you could put magazines into, but it may or may not contain plates or body armor. Essentially, here's the thing. Treat every self-defense shooting the same and do all your training this way. Assume that for whatever reason, your shots are not going to work. Whether it's body armor, or the guy's on PCP, or whatever it is, assume that your shots are not going to work. And that's when you start doing the failure drill. And the failure drill actually can be a lot of different things. It can be 2 to the body, 1 to the head. Or we also teach going to the pelvis. You break somebody's pelvis, they're going to hit the ground. I know another school that teaches what they call the zipper drill. You basically start in center of mass and work your way up to the right between the eyes and just keep shooting all the way up, because somewhere in there you're going to catch something that's going to have some effect. I know this to a lot of people, they're going, oh, man, that's gruesome. I can't believe you're talking about this stuff. This is what will save your life. This is what's going to save your daughter, save your son, save your grandchildren, save your wife, save your husband. If you don't know this stuff, you just are not prepared. I am sorry. Having a gun doesn't make you prepared. It's knowing this stuff, and not only knowing it, but practicing it. And what do I mean by practice? I mean going out at least once a month and working on this kind of stuff, because it's going to happen fast. It's going to be surprising. You're going to be behind the curve. You have to be working on, it's not muscle memory, because I'm not a fan of that term, almost on automatic pilot. And yes, absolutely. Good point, Jim. Get a blue gun, practice with this every day. I practice my draw every day. At least 1 draw. Actually 2. When I put my gun on, I practice 1 draw. When I take it off, I practice my draw. There's an opportunity to practice a draw. Not fast. just working on the basics. Because I was talking with Bruce Pyatt a couple of days ago. Now, Bruce has won the Bianchi Cup 5 times. And he made the same point I hear all top trainers make. He says, there's only the basics. There is no advanced. Now, this is a guy who is SWAT trainer, a long career as a law enforcement officer, one of, if not the top competition shooters in the country. And he says, there's only the basics. That's all there is. So the point is, when you practice, you can practice slowly, you can practice going smooth, and then you can speed it up, do what you have to do, but you simply have to practice. Because if you're not practicing, frankly, you're not there. You're not qualified. You're not ready. Your family deserves better than that. Don't wonder. Don't ask. Go get some training, then practice. Get our DVDs. Go to shopguntalk.com. In fact, don't go there. Go get the GunDealio app. And then when you go there, you can get those DVDs for 25% off. So get the GunDealio app for your smartphone. Then use it. Use the link under exclusive deals. We're the only exclusive deal in there. You'll be able to go there and save a bunch of money. Get these DVDs. That'll get you started. 866-TALK-GUN.
Before Silencer Shop made it so easy to suppress firearm noise, this was considered quiet. After Silencer Shop, this is considered quiet. Help make the world a quieter place. Visit silencershop.com to find a dealer powered by Silencer Shop near you. No crickets were harmed in making this commercial.
You're at a gun store and your phone tells you about hot deals. Want to know about special offers? No problem when you have GunDealio, the free app for your smartphone. GunDealio delivers the latest deals on guns, ammo, and extras direct to your phone. Don't overpay for your shooting gear. Get GunDealio. It's free at the App Store and Google Play. Trigger the deals with GunDealio. GunDealio.com.
No matter what gun you have, you want it to hit harder, shoot faster and flatter, and be more accurate. You get all that with the ammunition from Double Tap. Double Tap's experts select the best bullets, then load them to higher velocities while keeping safe pressures. Shoot small groups. Shoot farther. Use custom hunting loads in your handgun or rifle. Even fire 2 projectiles with 1 shot. DoubleTapAmmo.com. That's DoubleTapAmmo.com.
Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
The Ruger LCRX is a variation of the LCR that features an external hammer, allowing it to be fired in single-action mode. The LCRX can also be fired in double-action mode. It features a monolithic frame made from aerospace-grade 7000 series aluminum, a patented Ruger friction-reducing cam that results in a smooth, non-stacking trigger pull, and a patent-pending polymer fire control housing that significantly reduces weight and helps reduce recoil. The Ruger LCRX Revolver, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
And we are back with the 866 Talk Gun. Of course, we have the after show coming up in just a few minutes. So be sure, if you're not getting the after show, well, the easiest way, frankly, is, once again, the GunDealio app. We have it all in there. You save money, you get deals, you get exclusive offers, you get the podcast, you get our videos, you get everything. And the darn thing is free. How are you going to beat that? GunDealio. Go to GunDealio.com or just on your phone, App Store or Google Play. GunDealio. Let's see here. I want to go to John on line 1 in West Leechburg, Pennsylvania. Hey, John.
Hey, Tom. How you been?
Good. Thanks for your patience.
Oh, hey, I have a quick comment and question about open carry. And then if you don't mind, I'd like to make a comment about the gentleman that called about this Second Amendment video a while back. But open carry, I don't understand. I support it if you want to do that, but if I'm playing poker with you, isn't that the same as showing your hand?
That's a good way to put it. I hadn't heard that before. There are some people who basically object to having to get a permit from the government. Okay, I get that. I understand. There are some people who say, look, I want to acclimate the public to the fact that good people wear guns. I get that. And actually open carry can be a real good conversation starter, and you can bring people around and all that. I get all that. And I'm kind of like you. I have no problem with that. As long as you are doing it responsibly and you don't have a piece of junk holster that has no security, because when you're open carrying, people can snatch your gun. Police have retention on their holsters for that very reason. I would think anybody doing open carry ought to have a retention holster. But I'm with you. I'm not going to do that because I want the option of backing out. I don't want to say, well, gee, you have a gun on, do something about it. I mean, even if the bad guy doesn't see it, somebody else could say, you've got a gun, do something about it. Well, I really didn't want to be put in that situation. My plan was to back out the door and get the heck out of Dodge, and that way maybe nobody gets shot.
Yeah, I see it as if the bad guy sees you with the gun, he can make a plan.
Yeah,
against you.
I think, I will tell you this. I don't know any professionals who open carry. I'm talking about people who are not required to open carry. I don't know any cops. I don't know any real professionals who open carry.
Right.
Just kind of my way of weighing in on that. All right. And you said there was a video you wanted to say something about?
There was a gentleman, he sounded like he had an Austrian accent about an hour and a half ago, called about
video games. He's talking about like Call of Duty, the video games.
Yeah. My wife works in a bookstore, and the owner's very liberal. Well, she ordered some books in. They're children's books by the author is a conservative radio talk show host, okay? Mm-hmm. You know who he is. And
Rush Limbaugh.
Right. I didn't want to mention another name.
That's
she
all right.
can't keep them on the shelves. Why don't you are a writer? Why don't you write a children's book on the Second Amendment of what the real Second Amendment is about?
Some have said everything I write is children's writing, so that's a whole different thing.
Well, you know what? Like I says, the owner now says, order more. But,
that is interesting.
Because they're selling like hotcakes. And
I mean, Rush has that whole series of children's books about, the founding, Paul Revere and those type of things. So very interesting. Yeah, Rush Revere it's called. And I guess his horse is one of the stars. I don't know of anybody who's done that type of book. There is a Grandpa Jack series that was put out by JPFO, the Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership. They're cartoon books, and they are ostensibly aimed at kids. They may have more edge to them than a lot of people want to put in front of their kids, but I would say you ought to take a look at it, see if the JPFO website, I don't know if they still have that book or not, but it'd be worth checking on that. It is an interesting idea, though. Children's books, well, let's just expand it further than that. How about a whole series of children's books that talk about the history of the country and how it got started and responsibility and who the founding fathers were and what they did and what the principles of being responsible and standing up and your duty to your country, and there's more to living a good life than yourself and what works best only for you. Life lessons. Maybe there's something out there like that. It's worth checking on. 866-TALK-GUN. All right, back with the 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in there. Line 4, James is in Pensacola, Florida. Been with us Oh, we just dropped off. Okay. He was making the point that Ruger does that. We had a question about getting a combination gun, revolver for Ruger in their double action line. They've been doing it in single action. He says, hey, all you need is different cylinders. True enough. I'll ask him about it next time I get a chance. Also, we have Matthew in Metairie, Louisiana. Hello, Matthew. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. You talking about politics and Trump, Cruz, and Trump's explanation as to how he discovered the Second Amendment is that his sons basically brought him in. They started shooting, I know that. And he said, "Well, check this out." Right. So, my contention is that Trump brings a different breed of person to the political process. They're paying attention to politics for the first time because they've got this guy he's loud, he's brash, he's, bold. He's like Patton, the Patton of politics. And
I like it.
But he does. I don't see him getting the nomination without, Cruz, and I don't see Cruz getting the White House without Trump. Trump will just haul off and take his toys and go home and cause problems if he feels like they try to do the super delegate thing or anything like that.
Look, if Trump goes third party, then he simply elects Hillary. We all know that. I mean, and I'm not right. I wouldn't put it past him. So, what do you think of a Trump-Cruz ticket?
I'm thinking a Trump-Cruz ticket.
So, do you think Cruz would run as a vice president candidate with Trump as the presidential candidate?
I think he would. Because one thing, Cruz has not made the mistake of hauling off and attacking Donald Trump. Everybody else who hauls off and attacks Donald Trump, what happens to their poll numbers? They vanish. Don't know why that is. Just seems to work that way. Cruz just says Donald Trump's good for the process, and he is. He brings a kind of an energy and excitement that we haven't seen before.
Interesting. Well, I tell you what, we'll see what develops, but a Trump-Cruz ticket, very interesting. Yeah, Trump does bring in voters who might not vote otherwise if he weren't in the race. Very interesting. Thank you for that. Let's see. We got, George was traveling in Texas. He called in just to let us know. He says, we were talking about some conservative kids' books. He says, the Uncle Eric books by Mayberry. If you look at bluestockingpress.com, you can see the Uncle Eric series of books, first place prize winner in the government category of Mary Pride's Practical Homeschooling Reader Awards. So that's Uncle Eric, E-R-I-C, is written by Richard Mayberry for young and old alike, using episodic style of writing. That may be exactly what we're talking about. That may be exactly what we were looking at. Hey, Rick, I know you're on hold. Don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you. We're going to get to a number of people on the after show. Frank, same deal there. If you'd like to join us, well, now you can call us. 866-TALK-GUN. You're shy, you're bashful, you don't want everybody to hear you? Yeah, we'll just do it on the after show. It'll be fine. And by all means, my charge to you this week, I guess two things. One, be careful out there. There are a lot of crazies and bad people. Carry everywhere you go. Two, make it a point, make it a commitment to get more training and to keep your training up. Your family depends upon you. Don't care if you're the man or the woman in the family. And if there's two of you, there ought to be two guns and two sets of training at all times. Be safe, check your six, take care of your family, have a great Christmas buying season, and watch out for those mall parking lots.